Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, we're going to read a news story which is all about private policing. And this news story came from a newspaper called the Evening Standard, and it was published a few days ago. It says, when David Hanson broke through the window of a Marks and Spencer's store in London, he stole 20 bottles of Prosecco and £500 worth of meat. He already had 105 convictions, including 33 burglaries. A burglary, of course, is when you break into someone's house and you take things, and a conviction is when the court has already told you that you did some other bad things. So 105 convictions and 33 burglaries. His face and the entire crime was caught on shop CCTV, and that just means the close circuit TV cameras, the cameras that shops use for security. When he was arrested, he told the police that it was him, and he also told them about another burglary that he had done on the same day. Now, the police were wearing these body cameras which record everything you say. So that means that really convicting him or sending him to the court another time was going to be relatively easy. But there's something else. This arrest, this visit by the police, wasn't made by the police force. It seems that the Metropolitan Police decided not to investigate when the shop manager called them. Even though he had camera footage, he had the guy on film, the police still said, no, sorry, but we're not going to investigate this because, as I've told you before on this podcast, our police just are too busy now to investigate every single problem which happens in shops. This man, this Mr. Hanson, who did this heinous crime, he was actually arrested by private investigators. And this was the first time a burglar faced a jail sentence following a private prosecution. So it wasn't like the police took him to the court. These private investigators took him to the court. This article says, private policing is on the rise, particularly in London. It's filling the gaps where the state, the government, has retreated. Last year, Clapham Junction became one of the latest areas to join this scheme. And it goes on to say that anyone can make a citizen's arrest. You don't need to be a police officer. And these companies just add training and costumes so that the people look official. So they wear these style police costumes, as they're called, and these have been designed in consultation with the London School of Fashion. Other groups are wearing high visibility jackets, but with old-style caps. This trend of privatization may seem to be very new, but actually it's not. In fact, I can remember when I was a little boy, the same thing happened with the metro in the 1980s. There was a lot of crime, the police couldn't investigate, and we had these vigilantes. I can't remember what we called them. It was angels or metro angels, something like this. And they used to stand at the end of the carriage, really fiercely watching people. So this is a bit of a moral issue because people don't know if they should be afraid of these new private police. But as they catch bad people, they become very popular. It says here that part of the reason shoplifting and these kinds of things are happening is because Marks and Spencer's, the shop in question, has increased its automation because they are redirecting their savings on other people and towards private security. It basically means that they have these kinds of electronic tills, and one person can look at 10 of them rather than having 10 till staff to serve you. The idea for them is to take the pressure off and to save money. But it seems like having one security guard on the door is now kind of mandatory for these types of stores as well. And recent figures have shown that 215,000 burglaries went unsolved last year. And then the news article talks about the problem not really being private policing, but the problem is the state of the police. So let's get back to our article. It says, part of the reason shoplifting has increased is automation within large stores. Is it so bad that they are redirecting their savings on till staff towards private security? Some argue that supplementing forces with private services will take the pressure off the police and government to sort it out. But this misses something. The pressure has been on for years. In fact, the police have been failing for so long that it is now the norm in which they operate. And the problem remains very much unsorted. That just means not fixed. Recent figures showed more than 215,000 burglaries went unsolved last year. The truth is that private policing isn't the problem, it is merely a symptom. The real problem is the state of the police, the damage which has been brought by government cuts, which hangs over the service. A desperate attempt to replace police officers who have left means a lowering of recruitment standards for the police. A YouGov poll in November found that 49% of British people thought the police were doing a good job, and that's down from 77% 4 years ago. The growth of private policing is just another alarm among many. This is a service which needs to be repaired. So there we are, private police. And it seems like this is something which will be increasing. Now, I've just checked about those vigilantes who were on the London Metro in the 70s and 80s. They were called the Guardian Angels. And they were successful for a while, but British people, well, we can be a little bit strange because we love law and order. And we didn't really like the fact that people with no training were trying to protect us, because we have very fixed ideas about who should dispense the law. Now, these guardian angels on the metro, this was something which was very successful in the United States. It says here, this is a different report, this is from the Observer, it says the reason it didn't happen in London or wasn't successful in London is that Britons have fixed ideas about who's responsible for the law. There isn't any toleration of weapon ownership in the UK because we're not allowed to carry weapons. Only some police can do that. So even though the guardian angels didn't have weapons, the idea of non-police looking after us on the metro and telling us what we had to do getting on and off, well, that really didn't work. I remember those men had t-shirts and they had some kind of uniform. They used to wear little hats as well. They were kind of recognized, but they just petered out after a while. So maybe this time these private police will be more successful because they are companies, and I suppose these people will be trained security guards. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Well, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.